Alrighty, so I know I just did a video on the chapter 364 My Hero Academia spoilers in which I spoke briefly about this topic, but I feel like it deserves a whole video, and this topic is the Jart, which is Bakugo's gene heart, and that whole thing. I just kind of wanted to give my opinions on the whole matter. To begin, I wanted to talk about the fact that I know a lot of people are super upset by the Jart, which is Best Jeanist saving Bakugo with, his gene quirk and manipulation of fibers, and now as well as Edshot sacrificing his life to become Bakugo's heart somehow. It is very weird, but I'm not as mad as most people. I think it's kind of funny. That being said, I feel like I usually just don't get too mad about these decisions in mangas, so I don't necessarily think it's great, especially because this fake out death had just happened a few chapters previously. And in the last war arc, we also got one of these fake out deaths with Bakugo, or seemingly almost to death, when he gets attacked by Shigaraki's whole tentacle attack thingy. I thought it was fine to do back during that war arc, and I really had no problems with it, as most people didn't, because Bakugo should have lived past that as he did. But now it feels a little redundant. Like, okay, we're gonna fake it out again and literally resolve it in only a few chapters. I just feel like this could have been done a much better way, and it feels very rushed. The sense of tension, I feel like, was almost completely gone, because last chapter we already saw Best Jeanist using his whole gene thing on Bakugo, so we kind of already knew, okay, this is going to happen, the Jart. And now that it's been confirmed, I just feel like, what was the point of all of this? Okay, Bakugo is already back, or seemingly going to be back this quick. It just feels very pointless. Now, the verdict isn't completely out, since we don't actually know if this plan will work, or if Mirako can actually hold off Shigaraki. Maybe he intervenes, but even if that were to happen, it just feels like too much back and forth with who's gonna die, who's not gonna die, and it just feels very weird, and I just don't really like that. I feel like it's a cheap trick. Other animes such as Dragon Ball and stories like that have these sort of non-permanent deaths, and it really takes away all stakes, because if Vegeta or Goku or Gohan or anyone ever dies, it's never like, oh no, they're dead. It's like, okay, we'll wish them back with the Dragon Balls. And while my hero isn't necessarily at that point yet, unless Aries' quirk becomes that, I do feel like this quick turnaround with Bakugo is taking away in some feelings of stakes. And while we are losing Edshot here, this is a character we haven't spent nearly as much time with as some others, and I'm sure maybe Hawks or Endeavor will end up dying in this arc, but I feel like no students are really in too much danger, especially with Endeavor's little glimpse into the future, which is a little too specific. It seems more of like a vision of the future from Horikoshi rather than what Endeavor's actually seeing, as Deku's wearing Gran Torino's capes and they all have different outfits. You actually see Bakugo wearing an outfit that looks a little similar to Edshot. I saw someone on Twitter point this out, so credit to them. I'll show their thing right here. But I do think this could be interesting if Bakugo has this new appreciation for his new heart, which Edshot would have become if this sacrifice does indeed work and it revives Bakugo. I do think that could be cool, but given the fact the series is ending, we won't actually see much of how this impacts Bakugo, unless we see a little more of it in this final arc. Before I continue on with the discussion, if you are still watching, of course, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to hit 1,000 by the end of the year. It would be really cool, and if you do enjoy the content, it helps out a lot. Don't feel obligated to, but anyways, moving on to Bakugo. Given Bakugo's current state, even if his heart is saved by Best Jeanist and Edshot's efforts, I don't think he's gonna offer much to the fight unless he somehow gets healed, because he has a mangled up arm, like half his face is all blown off, and it's just not looking good for him. So even if he is revived, I don't think he's necessarily going to be fighting too much, or if he is, it's poor Bakugo. He's going through a lot, and they're kind of stretching how much he's really having to do right now. I just feel like it would be a little weird seeing him be so injured, and after all this, just continue fighting again so soon. I kind of hope that doesn't happen. Maybe he'll be off to the side. He just had a heart transplant, essentially, so if he could recover for a little bit, and if Deku could finally arrive and we get an update on him, that'd be nice as well. But given the fact that outside of Bakugo, pretty much no one was able to even scare Shigaraki, not even Tamaki's giant attack, which I'm very upset about, because they really posted in that chapter like, oh, he has the most potential of the big three to fire off these awesome attacks like this, and then it pretty much does nothing, barely even any superficial damage to Shigaraki / All For One. Bakugo did more, so again, if Deku doesn't come, unless Bakugo just keeps fighting somehow, I don't really know how they're gonna continue fighting as they're all getting destroyed. It's kind of cool that I don't know how this is gonna really turn out, but at the same time, I feel like that may just be because the story is a little disjointed right now. We have the whole Dabi thing, we have the separate battlefields, we have the All For One, and the Shigaraki. It's kind of just a lot going on, but I'm sure it'll work out, and I'm not as mad as some people. I'm not dropping the manga. I will still be reading, and I still really enjoy reading it. even this decision, I don't think it's the end of the world, or even the worst decision I've seen in a manga, or even maybe this manga. So I think everyone needs to calm down, and we'll just keep reading, and I'm sure it'll get better. So yeah, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.